Premier League match week 1 has been completed, and now we're looking forward to match week 2, which kicks off at Friday as West Ham host Chelsea at the London Stadium. Here are my predictions for match day 2. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. And without any further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into this one. So, West Ham versus Chelsea. Obviously, the first games, West Ham got absolutely spanked by Sunderland 3-0. It was a terrible performance. As for Chelsea, they were sluggish and frustrated by Crystal Palace in their 0-0 draw at Stamford Bridge. So, what does this game has that will, tell us about the two teams at the end of match day 2? Well, I feel like if West Ham loses again convincingly, then alarm bells will be ringing for what's going to happen to them this upcoming season. As for Chelsea, if they don't win this game, then all this talk about title challenges and stuff like that, it may sound premature. But I personally have Chelsea winning this game because of how unorganized West Ham looked on Saturday, and I feel like it's going to continue because Chelsea got quality, especially in the attack. You feel me? So because of that, I feel like Chelsea's gonna run out 3-1 winners. 3-1 winners, to be fair. 3-1 winners. And the danger players for the team for West Ham is obviously Bowen, because Bowen is their most consistent player. And you can argue say Paqueta, but if Paqueta's head's going to be in the game. As for Chelsea, their most threatening players is definitely Cole Palmer. Also, Caicedo, because he mops up everything. Don't sleep on João Pedro, because I know he was anonymous on Sunday, but he's still a player in it. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if he causes them West Ham defense problems with his movement, the way he links up, and also his eye for goal. So, yeah, man, I got Chelsea winning 3-1 on Friday night. Without any further ado, let's get into the next one. Manchester City versus Tottenham. Manchester City's bogey team, because that is definitely their bogey team. Manchester City versus Tottenham last season, in Tottenham's worst season in the Premier League, in my humble opinion. They absolutely battered Manchester City 4-0. And in previous seasons, they actually have a pretty decent record at the Etihad. Obviously, 21-22, they won. 22-23, they lost. 23-24, 3-3 draw, and then last season 4-0. So it's definitely Manchester City's bogey team. Pep Guardiola, there's two teams that has him scratching his head throughout his time in England, and that is Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. Because no matter how bad Tottenham are or how good Tottenham are, when approaching time to face Manchester City, they always seem to cause them problems. You could say it was Kane and Son and versus the rest, but at the same time though, different managers always seems to upset Pep Guardiola, and I genuinely feel like there's a serious chance Thomas Frank can continue that trend. Manchester City started off the season blitzing Wolves 4-0, Reinders, Shirky on the score sheet, Haaland doing what Haaland does, whilst Tottenham started off with a 3-0 win. Thomas Frank brought in a structure that suits the players that they have, and the transfer window, I'm not even going to talk about what they're doing in the transfer window because they're looking to strengthen their side, you feel me? But with Kudos banging form, with Richarlison 2 goals, the defence looking so much organised now, don't be surprised if this ends up a Tottenham win. But I'm going to edge it towards Manchester City this time. I'm actually going to edge it towards Manchester City this time. I think it's going to be a 1-0 or 2-1. I feel like it's going to be a 2-1. I think it's going to be a 2-1 for Manchester City because I feel like Haaland's going to get on the score sheet, and I feel like Marmoush is going to play in this game. I feel like Marmoush is going to score in it. No doubt, Thomas Frank's going to make it hard for Manchester City to break them down, but I feel like with the quality that Manchester City has right now, I feel like they will do enough to break them down. Tottenham's going to cause them problems in the counter-attack because Manchester City are still vulnerable in terms of transitions, but I feel like the quality will be shown on the day. So I'm going for a Manchester City 2-1 win. So let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. And the next game I got is Brentford versus Aston Villa. Yeah, Brentford did not look good on Sunday, boy. They did not look good at all. Whilst Aston Villa drew 0-0 to Newcastle. So this is just a straightforward one. I feel like Aston Villa will win by 2-0. The danger players for Brentford is a difficult one because no one really stood out like that. So I don't know who will be the danger man for Brentford. As to Aston Villa, obviously Tielemans play, Morgan Rogers, the newly crowned Young Player of the Year. Fantastic season last season. And obviously Ollie Watkins. So I have a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. Burnley versus Sunderland. Burnley, poor against Tottenham. Sunderland, amazing against West Ham. Who do I go for? I'm gonna go for Sunderland to do back-to-back wins on their first two games. I'm going for a 1-0 Sunderland win, man. 1-0 Sunderland win. I feel like Granit Xhaka is gonna bring so much leadership to that side, so much quality. As for Burnley, they still got experience like Kyle Walker in their team, but I feel like it's gonna be a difficult season for Burnley, generally speaking. So I'm gonna go for a Sunderland 1-0 win. Bournemouth versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yeah, Bournemouth, even though they lost to Liverpool on Friday, they show glimpses of what they're going to be about for this season because they still got the patterns of play, they still got the transition threats, and Iola's such a good coach. As for Vitor Pereira, he's also a good coach, but Wolverhampton Wanderers, they was threatening against Manchester City. Don't get me wrong, before they got ripped apart, but I do feel like Wolves are going to give themselves a good account of themselves, to be fair. I genuinely feel like I have to go for a curveball. I feel like it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I feel like it's going to be a 1-1 draw, man. Generally speaking, I think Wolves are going to perform a lot better than they did against Manchester City. And the danger man for Wolves is obviously Larson, because Larson, he has an eye for a goal. And for Bournemouth, you got Semenyo. I don't know if Clive is going to be back for the game. Evan Nielsen. They got Brooks. I think Christie started the club, so they got some good players in their team, man. But I feel like it's gonna be a 1-1 draw, generally speaking. So obviously on to more games now, if I can load it up. Yes, Arsenal versus Leeds United. Obviously, Arsenal got the win at Old Trafford, but they were terrible in my opinion. As for Leeds United, they got the win on Monday night against Everton. But Arsenal's at home, you expect them to win, and this is the time when Arsenal shows the Premier League what they're really about for this season because performances, these are the games now where performances do matter as well as the results. You feel me? And there'll be no better time for Gyökeres to like vanish the dreadful performance he had at Old Trafford and pull off the celly. You feel me? So I feel like, yeah, man. Arsenal will win by 2-0. I feel like Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet. And I feel like Gyökeres is going to get on the score sheet as well as Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, he's been on a goal drought lately, to be fair, but I think he's going to get himself a goal. So I think it's going to be Gyökeres and Saka. And for what I'm going to say, I can't even get my words out. The goals that they're going to score on Saturday will not be from a set piece. So, yeah, man. Not a hater. I don't think it's going to be from a set piece. I think they're going to score open play goals. So, yeah, 2-0 win for Arsenal, I believe. Next game, Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. This is going to be a very, very good game, man. Two good managers that's tactically smart in the way they play. Nottingham Forest, brilliant start to the season. Chris Wood, proving that it's not a one-season wonder. Back scoring goals, Gibbs White doing his thing, Anderson doing his thing. Obviously, Nottingham Forest added in Douglas Luiz as well, which will provide extra competition to their midfield because he was a very good player in the Premier League. And as for Crystal Palace, you don't know if Eze's going to play in that game. Obviously, they got the likes of Mateta, they got the likes of Wharton. So, yeah, man, they'll definitely pose a threat. Ismail Assar. I do see a winner in that game still. I do see a winner. I don't think it's gonna be a draw. I do see a winner. But I feel like the winner is gonna go to Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace is gonna win 1-0. I think they're gonna edge it out. I think it's gonna be late in the game, and I think it's gonna be a cagey game. Defense is being solid, but I feel like they're gonna edge it out by a corner. I thought a corner goal is going to settle it. So 1-0 Crystal Palace win. Don't know who's going to be the goal scorer, but I feel like Crystal Palace will win that game. Everton versus Brighton. Obviously, Brighton started off with a 1-1 draw, whilst Everton lost. But Everton's at their first game at their new ground, and I feel like they're going to win. They're going to want to show, they want to put out a performance for their fans. So I feel like they're going to win. I think they're going to win by, who? I'm going to go for a high scoring game, man. I feel they're going to win like 3-2. I feel like it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be goals. But I feel like they're going to win 3-2. Given the home factor, it's definitely going to play a part. So that's just my opinion. Manchester United versus Fulham at Craven Cottage. Manchester United, they can take positives from the defeat that they had against Arsenal, whilst Fulham obviously drew with Brighton 1-1. Obviously, I'm going to go for Manchester United to win, I'm going to go for Manchester United to win. I think Manchester United is going to win by, call me crazy, they got goals in the team. I feel like Manchester United is going to win by 3-1, man. I feel like Manchester United, Ruben Amorim has to put out a performance against Fulham. People are going to call it a mad prediction to me, but I'm going to go for a 3-1 Manchester United win. I feel like Cunha and Bremer is going to offer so much of a threat. I feel like Sesko is going to be bedded into the squad. Bruno Fernandes. To be fair though, you see the midfield of Manchester United, that might be the big worry for them because if it goes wrong, they'll definitely lose that game. But I feel like they're going to have a good performance. And yeah, man, I feel like it's going to be a 3-1 Manchester United win, generally speaking. So Yeah, man. Hopefully not though. I hope they lose. And then the big one, the Alexander Isak saga, the Alexander Isak match. We play Newcastle on Monday night. Let me talk about this one because I'm going to say it off the back. Newcastle looks like they're going to be approaching that game without a striker. And given the that Isak dropped last night, coincided with Newcastle's bomb after Isak's statement, listen, they have to be focused. They've been waiting for this fixture. They're going to put their lives on the line. They want to kill us on Monday. So the motivation is there. The performances will most likely be there. But I'm telling you from now, without a striker, they are not beating us. They're not beating us without a striker. I'm saying it live right now. They're not beating us without a striker. Because Whistle ain't joining Newcastle United. Brentford, absolutely. But that's another conversation for another day. But onto the game though. I feel like Liverpool needs to approach that game mentally ready and be physically imposing. And do not dare get bullied by that midfield again. Because in that Carabao Cup final, it was ugly to see. And the transition threats that we was absolutely getting cooked by Bournemouth on Friday night, that cannot happen. That cannot happen at all because that's going to be a toxic environment at St James's Park. And this is a chance to show what champions are made of. Going into a tough ground to get the win that we need. You understand? And I feel like Florian Wirtz, obviously, first game average performance, but I am writing him off. I think the stage is set for Florian Wirtz to ball out and show the Premier League why he's regarded as one of the best 10s in world football. I'm going to say it right now. We win that game by 2-1. We are definitely going to St James's Park, and I genuinely believe we're going to win that game. And it's going to show Alexander Isak why Liverpool is the perfect club for him to go to, even though it's not going to happen, unfortunately. So, the threats of Newcastle, obviously, in the counter-attack, Gordon, Barnes, Elanga, potentially playing. And obviously, the midfield, I feel like Newcastle have the best midfield in the league, innit? So, they'll definitely be tough. They're going to be physically imposed. Whilst the threats for us, we have numerous threats. Numerous. I don't even need to go through names. You got Salah, you got Ekatike, who's on banging form at the moment. Florian Wirtz, Cody Gap, get yourself a goal. McAllister, Gravenberch is going to be back, and we sure as hell missed him on Friday night. So obviously the defense needs to sharpen up the structure though. But listen, I can't doubt my defense, man. Especially Van Dijk at the back with Alisson in goal. Come on, these men are made for these type of games. They're mentally checked. You understand? So yeah, man, it's gonna be a 2-1 win. And I'm telling you, it's going to be so sweet when we get that win. So yeah, man, that's my predictions for this match day 2. Let me know down in the comments what's your predictions for match day 2. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And until then, peace out. Love.